A little bit of actually. Do we have Red Wings in here?
I don't know. We can do
maybe,
it.
Maybe probably should towards the end a little bit. I'm down for some Red Wings, but also talking some Detroit Lions and some draft stuff. We have a couple mock drafts coming up from Detroit Lions beat reporters. But first, Jackson Jobe.
Jackson Jobe.
I heard Manning was kind of picking on him a little bit. He's like, "Hey, come on, man, you throw harder than that."
Yeah.
And he started whipping high 90s.
Yes.
And they had to tell him calm down a little bit there.
Yeah.
Why isn't he on the opening day roster?
This kid's going to be nasty. Well, he's obviously coming off of the surgery, but he's not ready just yet. He's still going to be. He's going to probably start off in AA this year, I would assume. But his stuff, dude. His stuff is nasty. His four-seam averages at 96. He's gotten up to 98.5 already with his four-seam that's got like 2,500 RPMs. And then you look at his breaking balls. He's got the cutter. Even the cutter he has, it goes from 85 to 93 miles per hour with over 3,000 RPM. Like, this kid is nasty, nasty, filthy stuff. And he's coming off of this injury. He looks like he didn't skip a beat. This high 90s velocity that he's throwing is extremely impressive. He won't be in AA too long throwing like this. Like, he's not going to be in AA too long next year if he continues to throw like this. He's 21 years old, obviously coming off the injury, so they're trying to kind of ease him into it. But if he gets on, if they try to put him in single A, he is going to be pitching like a fucking prime Verlander out there. Like, this kid is way too good to start in single A this year. I see him starting in AA, and I see him moving up to AAA pretty fast.
I'm looking right now. I think it was like 99 he ended up hitting.
Yeah, 98.6.
I agree with you, Spencer. I think single day would be a disgrace to Jackson Jobe. I mean, the injuries. It's always been about the injuries with Jackson Jobe. We know he has the talent. That's why he went so early in the draft. I was mad back then because we needed a shortstop desperately. We passed on guys like Marcelo Mayer for Boston and Jordan Lauer for the Arizona Diamondbacks that I thought we needed. But I'm officially on board the Jackson Jobe hype train. Dude had 84 Ks last year to 6 walks. Mm-hmm. All he does is strike MFers out. Yeah. He is an elite arm, like top guy, like future Cy Young type stuff this kid has. His dad was a pro golfer, so you know it's in his genes already. And this kid is going to be something special. He just has to stay healthy. That's his biggest concern. I know he's been his changeup's been really coming along to go along with that slider and the top-notch fastball with spin and movement. So I think this dude, sky's the limit for Jackson Jobe. Hopefully he can get up to AAA quick and start knocking on the door.
He's got ace stuff. You're right. He's got ace stuff. Like when they picked him, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little upset because I didn't know.
I remember.
I didn't think we needed another young arm.
Yeah.
But then I looked at his stuff. I was like, Jesus, like, this kid is filthy, man. And he's recovered very well from the surgery. So him coming back will be very important to his fast track to the MLB. But I think, like I said, I think he's going to be in AAA very soon. I don't think it's going to take him long because I think he goes into AA and he shows the stuff he has and he looks nasty. So I think they're going to move him up to AAA pretty quick.
Yeah, I love that story too that you guys told about Matt Manning giving him a little bit of a a little peer pressure to get it up there, and he showed out for it.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of the stories I hear in camp, like with the young guys, when they get there in the big leaguers, they get a little bit like starstruck. And like with him, the trash talk on top of it, he only like showed up for it. On top of just kind of being a spectacle in itself, because I hear like every time he's on the mound, like he draws crowds. Everyone's going over there to watch him. Because what he's ranking like what top 25 and like across the MLB as prospects go. Mm-hmm. We'll see, man.
Yeah,
we'll see. How about Jace Young?
Jace Young, we'll see on him. He's still got a little bit to go. Obviously, it's a lot different when you're looking at the plate. When you go up in between the rankings, like hitting is the one thing. When you go up from AA to AAA, the difference of pitching caliber is huge. So at the plate, you're going to make the biggest difference. But Young is a guy who I wasn't in love with the pick, but we'll see what happens, what he does. I don't have him and Jobe could be September call-ups this year. I'm not gonna stake my life on that. I would say Jobe would be a September call-up before Young, just to give him some innings at the major league level. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Young. I'm not too worried about him yet because of, especially now that we got Urshela and with the 3 guys behind him of Ibanez, McKinstry, and Vierling. I'm not too worried about Young yet. You can let him marinate, let him get a lot of ABs this year to get that confidence at the plate, and then bring him up possibly next year.
Yeah, shout out Tigers minor league report on on X on Twitter because I am locked
That's like
in.
Helio, isn't it?
I am locked in to that all the time throughout the year because the Tigers have been so bad the past like 4 or 5. Well, God knows how many seasons at this point. But the big thing about Young is he got better as he progressed from high A ball to double A. And that's exactly what you want to see. It's not always the case out of your top rookies or top prospects, but he did that. So if he can start out in triple A, if he starts raking, I do like to see a possibility of him getting called up if guys like Urshela, McKinstry, Vierling, who else? Ibanez are showing out at third base. Are some of these guys going to get cut or what? Are we just going to have a rotation?
Like who?
The third baseman. If I'm saying Young starts balling out, like I don't know what we're going to do.
If Young?
If
Young. McKinstry and Ibanez, those are all utility guys. You can move them around. They can play a lot of the infield positions. They can play a lot of the outfield positions. So it's good to have a couple of those guys on the roster. We'll see what happens. One of them's probably going to get sent down. They're not all going to be on the opening day roster. With the signing of Urshela, all 3 of those guys aren't going to be on the opening day roster. So we'll see who makes the cut. It's going to be a battle. Those 3 guys, 2 of them are probably going to make the opening day roster. So their spring is really important for them.
Does Avila get any credit for like the pitching staff?
No. Chris Fetter gets credit for the pitching staff. Like Avila made picks. He made good picks.
How long has Chris Fetter been here?
But they couldn't develop anybody. Broder, I don't know if Broder's still there.
Yeah,
Broder. They're boys. They're literally boys.
I think it was 3 years.
Yeah, he came with Hitch.
AJ.
So, okay. Yeah. And Chris Fetter is the reason these guys look as good as they do. The reason these guys have developed. He is the best pitching coach in the MLB, and he's going to be MLB head coach very soon. So we'll see what happens there. But I don't give Avila credit for that. He's, like I said, he made some good draft picks, but he didn't develop anybody.
And the way we talked about Job and how his dad was a golf player, so he has the lineage. Jace Young's brother Josh Young was like 4th in All-Star voting last year, or 5th actually. Yeah, he was 4th for a World Series winning Texas Rangers at age 25. So Jace Young's 23. I believe he'll get into the majors by next year. So he's kind of right on track to kind of do the exact same thing Josh Young did. And he's a third baseman, power hitting third baseman for the Texas Rangers. If Jace Young could be a step below that or just kind of on his level, that would be massive for this team moving forward to pair with a guy like Colt Keith at second base, Torque at first, obviously Riley Green in the outfield. So hopefully this guy can keep progressing at the rate he is and start doing some big things this year in AAA for the Mud Hens.